Wasatyahala, with you all health. I am Raven, and today, or tonight, depending on what time of day or night it is for you, wherever you are, I am going to read from, where did my book go? I'm going to read from a book called The Fragments of Anaxagoras. I'll be right back.
Well, gee golly gosh, looks like I found it.
I found it. All right, got my book. Now, this is the book, Anaxagoras of Clazomenae, Fragments and Testimonia, a text and translation with notes and essays by Patricia Curd. Now, before I get to the reading part, I will tell you just a little bit about Anaxagoras, just so you know why I'm reading about this guy's stuff. He's an ancient Greek philosopher who lived around, I think, maybe 2,500 years ago, maybe 3,000, somewhere within that time frame. He came before Socrates, and he's one of the early proponents of this sort of Big Bang kind of thinking, okay? Basically, he believed that all things in the cosmos began as one primal singularity, and then they sort of went outwards. He's pretty interesting. Now, obviously I'm not going to read this entire book, because that'd be crazy. But there are specific fragments of his writings that are in this book that I want to read. Basically, Anaxagoras, he was a monotheist, I guess, for lack of a better term. He believed that all things in this universe are orchestrated by this great consciousness, or this great mind called nous in his native Greek language. He believed that it was some kind of an intelligence or a mind which set in motions the process by which this universe expanded into being, and by which all things are created and organized in this universe. And his writings, they're not preserved in whole. He wrote a book, allegedly, that had been read by Socrates, that was apparently still in circulation in ancient Greece at the time. But that book so far has not been found preserved in its entirety. It was called the Physis, and it is from that word and from the name of that book that we get the word physics. So Anaxagoras is considered the father of modern physics. Now, this where's the one that I really want to read? Here we go. You know what? I'll just start with this one. Yeah. And it has the ancient Greek as well as the English translation. Anaxagoras says that the homogeneous stuffs, unlimited in amount, are separated off from a single mixture with all things being in everything, but each being characterized by what predominates. He makes this clear in the first book of the Physics, when he says at the beginning, all things were together, unlimited both in amount and in smallness, for the small too was unlimited, and because all things were together, nothing was evident on account of smallness, for air and ether covered all things, both being unlimited, for these are the greatest among all things, both in amount and in largeness. This fragment is called B1 Simplicius in Physics 155.23. So basically, it's preserved from someone else having quoted him in an ancient text. Simplicius, I believe, is the name of the person who had quoted him. So many of these fragments of Anaxagoras' works are preserved by having been quoted from his original book in later works. The original book itself, like I said, is not preserved, but quotes taken from it, or excerpts, I guess, are preserved in later writings. And so that's an example of this. And the next fragment, B2, from the same source, Simplicius, in Physics 155.30, it says, and a little later, for both air and ether are separated off from the surrounding mass, and what is surrounding is unlimited in extent. So they're basically explaining Anaxagoras' thinking about how the universe expanded into being. Anaxagoras was interesting because basically he believed that other planets with life on them existed, intelligent life even, humanoid life even. And he had this idea that basically everything in the universe began as a primal singularity, and that there were these things referred to in his native language as spermata, where spermata is the plural of the word sperma, and sperma means seed. So basically he had this idea that there are these primal little things that basically have the stuffs of all things within them, and that by combining them in different ways, different things could be produced, different things can be created. So we're all made of these ancient primordial seeds, these primal ingredients. And he believes that these things were originally in the beginning condensed. These spermata were all condensed in this primal singularity. And that this mind, or this nous, caused the expansion of all things in the outward into the universe by spinning it. This mind came basically and took this primal singularity and made it spin, causing all things within it to expand outward or spray outward in every direction. So you imagine this spinning thing, and then you imagine it throwing off all these ingredients. And as they're thrown off, they begin to disperse and to start combining and recombining and breaking apart, and so on and so forth in different ways. And so from this, new things begin to form. And this is his idea, his basic idea of how the cosmos or the universe was expanded into being. It's really interesting. But anyways, this video is now 10 minutes, almost 11 minutes long. So I will read more about Anaxagoras in my next video, or in a later video, whichever one. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video, If you did, please click the like button and click the subscription button. Please subscribe to my channel if you liked this video. And if you have any notes or suggestions or ideas or questions or comments, go ahead and leave them in the comments section. Thank you very much. Wesafia Allah, with you all health, and think deep.